people highlighting the first letter at times. So this is a pseudo class. I can, so I was trying with this guy. I didn't know the reason. If I have this before, the first letter pseudo class is not actually working. If I comment this, it is actually working. So first letter or first line is also one pseudo class. Like if I wanted to highlight the first line of this particular element, it is actually highlighting. I really don't know how it is being, calculating the first line. Like introduction is actually moved to the next. So will it be if I have, yeah, it's like if it is moved to the next line due to size, the next line is not being highlighted. And the same way we have last line, I guess, first letter, first line, first letter and first line, after, before. Content is something that we already know. Now power is back. That's good to know. Let me plug in, guys. So I have connected one monitor for this one monitor. The monitor itself connected to power. So nice. So first letter we have seen, first line we have seen, before we have seen, after we have seen. What left here is the marker. So if I have a ULLI like this, let's say I have a list like first, second, third. Okay. If I have a list like this, so I can say the marker, the marker for this text is the, these items. If I really wanted to have any style for these kind of markers, I can use the marker style marker element. I can color them. Okay, these markers would become red. And one another pseudo element, that is selection. So if user selects the content like this, okay, we can highlight. This is the default style that for the selection, like there's a blue color line around the text. We can change that to, have a separate color, like a different color like this. So if I, on the host itself, not on specific element, the host itself is, if we say selection, and if we do it like this, if we apply some style here, like background color, maybe to have green instead of yellow. If I select this guy, it'll highlight the content which is selected in green rather than blue. So we can do that. We can change that styles. And if you want green with white, you can say color to white. So it'll be like this. If you don't have this class, it will be just the blue color going over the elements. So if I'm just selecting some elements, it will be like that. So if this guy present, the selection pseudo element is present, this should, now if you select, the content, whatever the style you applied, you can select. So if your slide, like if your you know theme of your content is kind of different, and like theme of your website is green and white, and you have to have green and white, you can change this color too. So those were all the pseudo elements, like before, after, first line, and first element, marker, selection. Any questions here? I really had hard time. I was trying to keep up these guys. Like I was trying to have the before event and before and after, and everything got messed up. So finally I understood. Okay. let me put back some of the, I shouldn't have deleted. Okay, like this. Intro to first line to have some other color. Like this. So this guy will have, this guy's first line will have all these colors. If I,
Ganesh.
yeah,
Uh, this marker will change all the list items in the code. It's somewhere I'll have
yeah,
another list of
yeah,
items.
it will change all the list items. So
If
if
I
you,
want only to be specific,
I think
I
you
will
can have like this. So if I want just have it on UL, I think you can have a class.
okay.
As far as I know, I never used in on a separate class. I will try to use it now. Marker demo, mark demo. Take this class, come over here, mark demo, and yeah, I think this is a global class. This is not a class. This is not a pseudo element to have it an specific element. This is a global style. So you can apply it on the host itself. This style is for the host. Same way for selection. So it's a global style. Looks like.
Okay, okay.
Yep. So next is what we have. We have around 20 different pseudo classes. So let me create another file, pseudo classes. So pseudo classes, a particular element will have different states, guys. Like let me give you an example. Okay, open it with live server. Now this guy, input type is equals to text. So this particular element have different states. Like if I hover this guy, it's a different state. And if you see, if I click on it, it is having a different representation because it is now in focus mode. Now it is changed. Now if I disable this particular element, have a different states. So one particular element have different states and different representations, and each different state is represented by a pseudo selector. So let us say style input active or input hover. The most famous pseudo class you might have seen is hover. Hover is a representation for, your, if your mouse is hover, that is when this pseudo class will come into effect, and border color red. So if I hover this guy, the border color becoming red. So this is a pseudo class for that particular state. As I said in the beginning, each of the element will have different states, will have all the states that are available in the HTML. Is it clear, like the statement just I made? or should I, go over some, once more? Each element, no matter what, a paragraph or a div, whatever you take, any element on the HTML will have different states. When mouse hover, when mouse out, when I click, when this is on focus, when this is, different elements will have different pseudo classes, but most of the classes, you know, uh, most of the pseudo classes are applied because the state for these guys, this is a paragraph. So this is a paragraph class, paragraph, the class is paragraph. If I say dot paragraph over, this is a state, this is a pseudo selector, the pseudo state of the particular element, because when mouse is hover, this pseudo class will be active, and the active class can have different styles, and the styles will be applied. So if I hover this guy, it will apply. So I definitely have some problem with my live server today. So it's giving me kicks today. So if I hover this element, this class is getting activated. So like that, we have almost nearly 20 elements, but not all of them are kind of applied on every element. Some of them specific to some of the elements. Okay, but let us try to go over each of the element. The most common example that you ever can understand everything is button. So let's go to button. So this is save me a button. So we see different buttons in the internet, many other times, like blue ones, green ones, big ones, small ones, and other things. So we can style these guys. This is a HTML default button, and we have the same button, like no matter what browser you open, this representation is going to be the same. But if you want to theme this button according to your website, you can do that. So you can simply say, I want all the buttons. Whenever there is some guy said button, okay, I just want to say, I just want to have this class btn on them so that I can work with this guy. So dot btn, I can say line height, I need line height of 21 px. Okay, and padding of 10 px on the bottom and left, and 60 px on the left and right. Okay, now this guy is looking good. Now I change the border color or background to none, border to none. Now this is nothing, there's nothing on it. Or I can just have some background color. A default button can have some background color. Let's say E4, E4, E4. This is fine. And then let me add some border radius, rounded corners to this guy. 8 px is more than what I need. 6 px should be enough. Now I have this border radius. What happened to my click effects? What happened to my hover effect? Everything is now you started implementing your styles, so everything else is getting, you can say, all unset. So if you want this element to lose all the styles that are offered by elements, like this is some default styles given by HTML, but you don't want that, you can simply have this class, and this element will lose all the properties that are offered by a browser by default. out of the box that are available to this element, and you can start applying your styles. Now the static style is applied. Okay, now I can hover. I can darken this guy little bit. Okay, so when I hover this guy, now this is getting little dark. Let me change it to little more darker, so I can have the color to now the hover effect is kind of looking good. I can have border 1px solid. One more ash color. I'm just adding one more ash color that will be look little light. Okay, now I'm getting, so this is a hover pseudo effect. So we have another pseudo states for this button, that is focus active also. So like if I click on this guy, okay, if you anchor, let's say an anchor element, href to google.com, keep it www.google.com, save it, Google. I kept in this logo. I went to Google and I come back. I haven't actually visited. So if I click this, I went to Google. If I come back, you could see the difference in the color. See, it is actually a visited state. So how can you see that? So here in this, you select this guy and come over here in your debug panel, and you can activate everything. So you select this button, you say activate hover. You can see the styles being applied when you select it. So same way you can visit it or active. See, the default active style is this. We can change, these are all the pseudo classes. So we can change the styles being rendered on active, on focus, or target, or visible, focus, visible, or hover. We can change every style. We can have all these pseudo classes for one particular element and change the way they are looking. So let's say if I have a class of btn to this, what is happening? Can you observe? This particular guy is also becoming a button, irrespective of whatever the previous state this guy had. Once I'm introducing a css property, this guy is also looking like button. So irrespective of what type of element it is, the behavior is same. So I can continue, add some more pseudo classes. What other pseudo classes I have? Hover I've did. Active. What is active? Okay. So if you click on this, active is something like I have hold my button there. See, this is active now. Now this is active, ready to go, and I released it. So, but I just want this style to have some more color when it is active, some different color when it is active. I can reduce the color. See, and however it is dark, but when I click it, it is active now. The state of this element is active. Now, when I try, so now I hover this mouse, I haven't clicked on this element, it just mouse hover to that element. Now I clicked my mouse, sorry, I clicked my mouse and I haven't released my mouse. So that means it is active. It is ready to be fired. So it's like you active missile means the missile is active and ready to go. So if I release, it will go. That is the state that I've applied this style. So if you really wanted to see the difference, let me add the red color to the active ones. If you could see, I hover. Once I clicked it, it's active and it is red. So you need a differentiation for all these things, right? So if you have a visited session, like visited button dot visited, if you wanted to differentiate the ones already clicked, okay, you can have some visited color. Seven B. See, the Google is kind of visited already. If I click this guy, okay. So once it is visited guys, because it is stored in the history. So we went to Google already and we come back. It is already visited. So if I have a new button, for Facebook, this is a new link. We haven't visited this website. So the visited pseudo class is not applied on this guy. Once we click on this and come back, see, this is already visited. So whatever the pseudo class styles we have written inside, that is already being applied. So visited is the pseudo class for that kind of elements. So we've seen active, hover, visited, if at all this button is disabled, let's say this guy is disabled, how should that look? So I have applied disabled. So just a second, I'm just getting a call. Hello. Sorry. So this guy is disabled, but definitely not behaving as disabled. See, now I have disabled this, but this is not acting like disabled. What is happening to this, guys? Because you started applying your old styles and you set all, you actually set everything unset. Now you have to deal with this guy. Okay, so I can say btn disabled is also one more state for that button. So I can say opacity to 0.6. So I just wanted to look little dull, right? Now is this looking dull? And pointer events to none. When I said pointer events none, no mouse over, no click, nothing will work on this element. So this is a very powerful property. Use it with caution. So when this is disabled, no pointer event should work. Hover or click or release, mouse up or mouse down, whatever the heck it is, nothing should work. Okay. So now, if I don't have this, still my hover, my click, everything working, right? So it may be not active, but hover and click, it is working. So this way you can stop the pointer events and you can have it. So maybe if you put it the style, opacity to 1, you could see the color change. Maybe if I increase the, I had this color too light. Okay, and if I disabled item, if I just wanted to have 0.6, now this is disabled. Let me remove this disabled attribute from this. You could see the difference. The original color from here is getting applied there. If I put disabled, it's now disabled. Any questions so far? No problem. So we are going over classes that will select the state of the element. This far we have seen different elements itself. One element, the other. We are selecting one element, the other element. Now in this session, we are actually selecting the same element in different states. Different states means not Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, or some other states, but different kind of states. How do I say? In Telugu, we say different, పరిస్థితులలో ఉందంటాం కదా. It's simply like that. So different states. So this is now just when it is casual, when mouse is near to it, when mouse is clicked and ready to release, when you have already visited that particular section and come back to the same page to indicate that user, you don't have to go back here because you already visited these guys. You don't have to go back. If I have 30 pages of content that you are already reading, so 20 pages you already read them, so highlight in different colors so that the user cannot go there. User will not be able to visit. Okay, so what if I wanted to highlight unvisited links, like links that haven't clicked anywhere? So you can use this link element dot btn link selector. So basically, if I'm highlighting the ones that are visited already, you don't have to highlight the things that are not visited, right? If there are two sides of coins, if I'm already calling it tails, that means the heads is left, right? I don't have to specifically say. If you ever wanted to say, you can use this guy. You can use link and you can apply the same styles that are here, because you want them in the same state, right? Original states. You don't want any change state. So if you wanted to change that state, you can have some other states. If I just copy paste another thing, and if I say Twitter, this is now blue and the color is, so this is a pseudo class that is applying on the link that is not visited. Okay, this is not visited. If actually I change the color link to Twitter and I have changed it, so I haven't visited Twitter right until now. So if I gone ahead and visited Twitter and I come back, now this is visited. This is no longer not visited. This is already visited. So now this pseudo class is applying already. So this is not being applied. So you can differentiate the elements with these pseudo classes. Okay. Okay. What else we have? If I have an input, let's say I have a form. Okay. Action, some more action. I don't want to decide any action here. Okay. Input type text or email. Input type is email. Placeholder, enter email. Now I have an input here. So let me bring back, let me have another input, that is submit. Input type submit. Okay. Now if I say required, what am I saying here? This input is required to fill to submit this form, right? So it is saying, please fill this, in this field. So that's what it is saying. Let me comment these guys for a while. I hope no problem. 6:12. We started around 5. Do you guys want a break? Karthik, Naveen.
No, sir.
Your
Let's
wish,
continue.
Your
No,
wish.
no, no.
No, Ganesh.
Fine. Now, when I say required, okay, when I said required, I'm expecting this one to have some style. So this is now invalid. Okay. So that is the state this guy is in. This element now is in a invalid state. Okay. So how do I select this invalid state? So if I'm selecting invalid state, what I can do, guys, let me know. 1 second. Any clue?
Value.
Sorry.
I mean, we need to give value as an enter email.
No. When I said required, the type is email. When I say enter like this is not a proper email, right? Let me add it like this. Okay. Let me write some CSS, then you will see. Yeah. Input attribute selector type is equals to email. Let me test if I am selecting the right, if this is selecting the right. Okay, let me, yeah, this guy is selecting right element. Nice. Okay. Now we are talking about pseudo class. So now I put a pseudo class invalid. Okay. Let's say border color red. Okay. Why this border color is red? Because this is now an invalid element. Okay. Because it is still invalid. It is still invalid. But now it is valid. You could see no word, no red color border. Can you see? I already submitted 2-3 times. That's the reason it is actually. I've tried to submit this form, guys. See, this input is now invalid because I'm expecting a email. Okay, I'm expecting this is a email type input. This will be satisfied only when a email is mentioned inside it, like this. No red color. See. So after, so let's say now I'm combining with pseudo element after content. This, please enter email only. Okay. Now this is good. Sorry. Invalid and after. This after should come, but it is invalid after. Okay, let's not combine this. There's some trick that I have to conjure. So now this is an email input. There is no email inside. Okay, this is an invalid input. The form cannot be submitted. If you could see, this is an invalid input. Now, okay, let's try with one more element. Okay, number. Okay, this is a number. Min length is 3. That means I only want to take, numbers that are above 100. So enter above 100. Let's say this is a bid and you just want to accept 100. So if I enter 2, is it a valid or invalid? Let me try that. Sorry, somebody trying to speak. It is submitting. Guys, are you here?
Yes.
Okay. I said minimum 1, maximum of 5. Now this is a invalid statement. Let's say, I don't know if you really understood or having hard time to figure out or anything.
No, Ganesh, understanding.
Yeah, this will become invalid if I have a wrong input. If it is right input, now this guy is not invalid, it's valid, so it can go to submission, so no problem, right? If it is not valid, if user is not entered a proper email ID, you can highlight and show the user, like, guy buddy, you have it, the red color highlight means that it is not a valid thing. So this pseudo selector will actually give you, now it is not complete. I can, now it is not in red highlight and I can submit it. So like that. Invalid is for that. Required output, like say, if I have all the elements, if I wanted to highlight required elements, all the required elements, underline or text to decoration, maybe if I wanted to highlight, like, I have 2 numbers but one is not required, I have to differentiate. Okay, now this is not required, this is required, this is not required. So I can put a different style. I'm figuring out how do I required element, all the required elements should have a different style. What is that style? Maybe I can say font size 40, bigger, and all the required elements will have a bigger font size, and I have to apply it on numbers too. Okay, email and number which is required I have highlighted in different font, and which is not required highlighted in different. So if you could see, this input is really not, no, this is required. So last element is font size is bigger. The first element is also having a required attribute. That style is different. The second element does not have a required attribute. So if I have that required attribute, now this is also being highlighted. Sometimes we see a asterisk symbol on the top right. So that's how we can highlight. Any questions? So far?
No, Ganesh.
like this, if I have to go over like this, we have almost 3 to 400 elements, guys. Like if a video is playing, there is a pseudo element for video is called playing. If it is paused, there is a pseudo class for that. So there are numerous you know, the list goes on, like to the end of the world. So if we talk about all those things, so I have given some of the list in the handout. Okay, and I talked about few of the important ones in this session. But if you one more element, not selector is one important selector, guys. In range or out range, I think in range and not. So let's say number, so in range, sorry, in range, okay, this is not allowing me to go beyond 5 because min max I have set it already to 5. So if at all this is in range, it will display file one, and if it is not in the range, this style will apply. So you can use in range, SCSS or SASLang. Okay, syntactically awesome styles. So that is the abbreviation, syntactically awesome style sheet. So this guy developed a mechanism. Okay, so what he did, simply you write whatever you want. I am building a mechanism. Okay, I'm building some wheels here that will take care about converting your CSS. I'll take the structured CSS, a CSS like just I explained, and I create a proper CSS. Got it? Not only that, there are some more additional features also created. Annotate, close annotation. So where is the preprocessor? Preprocessor is you know, you can found it in this a plugins. Did I not installed it? Yeah. So this is the preprocessor. Okay, you have to install this plugin, live SAS compiler. Okay, so let me write some styles for this. Okay, paragraph. So I'm not trying to design a beautiful website, but I just wanted to show you. Okay, brand name, text, you know, margin 0, adding 0. Okay, header UL as well. This should be applied on UL as well. Okay, list style none. Again, I have to have display inline block, adding 20px, 30px. Good. Background color brown, color white. Not the case. I have to have it the color here. Okay, text to decoration none. Power is back. Font size 25px. Okay, now I have written some styles. Okay, so I have a hover too. So on hover, I just make this color little bit lighter. Okay, not for this guy, but for the entire li. Nice, nice, right? This is good. Now I want to achieve the same in SCSS. So this is not looking so structured. This is so individual. Everything is individual. So go ahead and install this live source compiler on your VS Code text editor. And then in your files, go ahead and create style.scss. Okay. So this compiler compiles both SAS and SAS styles, both, not just one style. So as soon as you as soon as you install that plugin, you will see this option in the bottom. Okay. Or if you don't find this, Control Shift P or Command Shift P on Mac or Linux, Control Shift P on Windows. You can hit that and you will see this panel. Then you can say watch live source compiler, start watch, watch SAS or compile without watch mode or stop watching. So you can say watch SCSS. So now you could see this has become watching. So now it is looking the CSS file and generating the style, guys. See, that is the magic it will do. It will look at the SCSS file and generate CSS. So once it is generated the CSS, it is safe to assume that CSS is here, style.css, and I can simply import link style.css. Fine. Even if I don't have this file, okay, I linked in the SCSS, but whenever I come here and save this watch is actually generating a style out of my SCSS file. Fair enough. So can I link it like this? This is making sure the plugin making sure I always generate this style.css out of my thing. Good. Now, as I said, SCSS main feature is nesting the CSS. You can write nested CSS in SCSS. The second format you have seen. Okay, let us write it. So let me comment this guy. Okay, let me comment this guy and let me show you preview. See, I'm back to no CSS applied from this section. Okay, I am back to square and I just reproduce the same style. Okay, using CSS. I'm not opening the CSS, guys. I'm writing it in the SCSS. Whenever I write some SCSS and save it, it is generating CSS from out of SCSS file. So I'm just ignoring this one. I'm coming here and copying this style, the class style.css, sorry, SCSS, header, paragraph, say color purple. Can you see? Font size bold. See, this is no longer here. This is inside it. As soon as I am writing the CSS, now let us open the style file and see. This is the SCSS I have written, and this is the SCSS that it's generated. Okay, let us keep these two open. Okay, now It's time I create UL. UL padding 0, save. See, I'm adding some styles in SCSS. It's automatically watching my SCSS. My SCSS compiler is watching and generating the styles for me. Okay. In UL, I have LI. Okay. This is display inline block. See, nothing on the bottom. Okay. Now inside LI, there is an anchor. Okay. That anchor color is white. Anchor text color is white. Can you see? This was the last statement. Now this is being added. And I can change this background color to brown. See, padding 20 px on the top and bottom and 30 px on the left and right. I'm getting there. Can you see? Now, to add a pseudo class, you don't have to do anything. Put an ampersand symbol, put a colon directly here and write whatever you want. It is that simple. You are inside this LI only. Now you can put an ampersand. So for the same element, you are saying that for the same element, I'm writing a pseudo element and I'm going to write some styles, background color.
Ganesh,
Yeah. Sorry.
can you once open the index HTML file?
Yes, I opened it.
Okay.
Because I got your confusion. So because I'm not writing the style.css, I just let me remove this guy and refresh. I don't have the CSS. I have linked the CSS file here. I haven't linked to the SCSS. But I have a watch CSS running here, SCSS compiler running here. So if I come back here and if I just save this is generating CSS for me. See, this is success. This guy generating the CSS with the SCSS that I have written. So this is a different flavor. Okay. You got it? It is
got it.
like, this is looking like CSS.
We can't link SCSS directly. We should only link.
We can't link SCSS directly. You are right. You have to write CSS, SCSS, and then give it to a preprocessor. Preprocessor will process the SCSS file and generate CSS, and then you need to use that generated SCSS file. Got it?
Got it.
Anybody have any questions till now? So if we move ahead, we're gonna see this is getting complex. This will,
it's fine.
be complex. Sorry, Nishita, you were saying something.
Alright, it's fine, sir. Got it.
Yeah. So let me connect my external monitor. So I'm having a hard time in looking things in small monitor. Good. Stop. Thank God it's a bigger monitor now. Okay. Is this the only feature of SCSS? For this only should we write SCSS? No, guys. Believe me, you might not know a while back, you might not know a issue called cross browser, because things that are working in Chrome, they usually not work in Internet Explorer. If the same CSS will not work in CS Internet Explorer will not work in the same code, will not work in Mozilla Firefox. So there are different kinds of browsers, and each browser does have a different style. So it will not render the same CSS, will not render in the same file. Okay, it is the issue was very humongous. Yeah, now the next subject is variables, guys. So you have seen in JavaScript, you could place some variables and you could change the variables later, right? You know the concept of variable, right? You can give a thumbs up or anything that you, if you don't want to unmute yourself. SCSS also have the concept of variables like this. So font color, I can use the font color here like this, for purple. And background color, brown. And I can use this variable in the place of brown. No change. If you could see, instead of using the color directly, I put it in background color. But what is the purpose of this? So if you see, there are some math functions also available. Sorry, somebody said in the chat something. Can I use any name, right? Yes, you can put any name you want. Okay, it should be the names in CSS should be separated by a hyphen. Instead of in JavaScript we usually see variables like this, font color or something, but in CSS you have to have a dollar variable, dollar sign, and then the word, then hyphen, and then second word. So that is how you should define, that is a syntax of creating a variable. And now you can say the CSS value can be here and you can use it here. So when I hover, this is getting lightened, right? You can, there are some built inbuilt methods for CSS offering is use the same color and lighten it by 10%. See, hover, same color, use the same color, lighten it 10%. So what is the CSS that is generated for this statement? Can you see? This is a brown color, that is background color. In the place of this, when CSS is generated, it has put the brown color from here. It has picked up the brown color from here to here. And then I said, say I use the same variable and I just wanted to lighten this color. See, this is itself changing the color 10% lighter. You can say 10% lighter, 10% darker. So you can say it like this, darken 20%. See, it's dark, getting dark 20% or 10%. If you want little more, 10%. Light darken will add some black to this base color, 10% black to this black base color. Lighten will add white to the base color. So you get this kind of, advanced benefits to, you don't have to write this much CSS. This is a very tricky way, having everything is flat, but here we're maintaining hierarchy. So if you ever don't want, if you don't want this, if your client says that I don't want this brown color, you can simply say, change it to blue and save. See, now this blue color 10% lighten, hover color is also changed. Okay, so there are plenty of methods like this. Okay, so I just want to stop the SCSS. This is just an introduction to the SCSS. I just wanted to touch on variables, but there are different other features like mix-ins. Okay, you can use loops, you can use mix-in, you can write conditions. So you can do so many things. You can write the CSS as a script, as JavaScript itself. You can write, you can use this different methods of JavaScript kind of methods in SCSS, and with less code you can generate much more CSS. Okay, for example, let me show you a small example. Okay, so let me create a for statement. So this is a for loop in SCSS. Some I 1 to 30. Okay. Font in, I just wanted to interpolate $I. So don't get confused. So this is a variable. Just usually in for loop, if we are iterating from 30 things, every time we get a I in, we get the initialization I increase to something, right? So the same here. So let's say font I. Now I just need to generate font 1, font 2, font 3, font 30 classes. Okay. Each time I just say font size equal to $I into 10px. Okay. For font 1, it will be 10px. For font 2, it will be 22x. For font 3 class, it will be 30px. So if I want some classes that are predefined, so this is simply a loop. But if you come to your SCSS and see, what it did, it created 30 different classes until 300 pixels font size. So if you simply in your class, if you wanted to use, a 150 px font, you say font 15. If you want a font, if you want something to have a font of 10, or if you wanted to increase it by 5, you could simply say, you usually increase it by 4, not by 10 or something. You usually increase by 4. So we don't want 300 pixels need, somebody will not have 300 pixels, but you can have 10 different variants. Okay. Until 40 pixel font size, we have different font size. Now you can have font 6 class. You can simply put a font 6 class on these guys. Okay. Class font 6. Font 6 have 24 px, right? It should have 24 pixels. 24 pixels is applied, but 30 pixels is right there on here. So if I remove this guy, you'll see the 24 pixels applying here from font 6. So you can, with this small code, you can generate this much CSS. This is just one feature, guys, one feature. We'll use this kind of features and create many, there are around 7-8 features like this in SCSS that will help us, create the styles in a more rapid way. So that's where I want to stop the session, because next session we will deep dive into SCSS. So there is a session in the handout. In the handout, there is a session. There is a video on Figma. Figma is a tool that you can use a lot. So let me give you a small demo. What is Figma? Okay, you can download Figma, app from App Store, or you can go to in the internet. You can say figma.com and you can sign up here, or I already have a account and I just wanted to sign in. Okay, why do I need Figma? With the help of Figma, you can create websites. Okay, so if you see, I don't know, this is my website or somebody else's website. So this is not my website. So you can design your website here like this, and you can preview your website. So you don't have to write any CSS or anything here. You'll do the design and see how it is looking. And once the design is ready, you can look at these guys and you will get the CSS out of this guy like this. Okay, you can in HTML, if you feel tough it is to write or do something, you can create you can create it here like this. If you see, this is one mock-up. So we can draw these kind of things in CSS. We can draw it here, and this will give us CSS for these guys. And I can copy this CSS and go on and create this design in HTML. As simple as that. So it is an excellent tool that you should know of. So now, yesterday I was trying to design a website. So design a app for myself. So I kind of liked this UI, and I'm just recreating that website. This I'm just recreating this UI here. Okay. So this particular video have all the fundamentals of this Figma. You can watch this and learn what this, but I just wanted to give you the taste of this app. So oh my god, I don't have my phone with me. Just a second, my kids grabbed my phone. Just a second, I'll grab my phone and give you some hint. I'm on I don't know if you could see my phone. So I think this video is kind of blurring. Where can I off the blur? So I brought my phone. In your phone, you need to install the Figma app like at here. You can search in the Play Store or App Store, with the Figma mirror app, and you need to click on the last tab here, Figma mirror. So if you click on the last tab somewhere, if you're trying to install now, or if you wanted to install it later. So on the screen, if you see me on the Zoom screen, there are frames in here. So this is the first frame. This is the second frame. The blue one is second frame. The first one is first frame. I'll teach you how to create frames, but I'm just giving you a taste of this application. So if I select this frame, immediately it is asking, do you want me to start the preview? So if I click this button, it is opened. It is trying to open the same design that I have on my screen. See, so I can see the preview on my website. If I'm see, now I selected the blue one. I selected the frame one. That is this frame one, and you see that is being opened on my phone. I can see the preview here. It's a quite powerful tool. So it will give me why it is actually blurring my video. How can I stop that? Okay, blur my background. Yeah. So now I think it will be clear. So if I select the frame 2, it is opening this frame 2. And if you could see the design that I'm actually designing there. So if I, if I select this guy and move it here, you could see. So let me move the blue ones if you could notice. So it is changing on mobile also. So you could keep a mobile beside you or a website or a tablet. You can design your website and look how see how the design is looking in your profile. And finally, when you are ready, you can inspect your styles here. Okay, in the column here, you can inspect these styles and copy these guys and go ahead and create your website with the help of this. This may not be accurate. This is a position absolute method, but this will definitely not be helpful to you. But some of the elements will be able to help you. If you select this guy, just a second. Hello. So yeah, so let me create a new file. Okay, so let me, I have this Figma app installed on my desktop, not on the, you can open it on browser, or you can download an app and you can see that app. You can have this app like this. So you can create a new design file. Okay, and you can, first you have pages here. So if you expand it like this, anybody able to see my screen? Like any problem there?
No problem.
Okay. This is a Photoshop kind of a tool. If I have to say, Photoshop kind of a tool, but not Photoshop. This is exclusively to draw design. It's a free tool. You can use it for free. You can create exclusive designs, something like this. So I was attending in the morning, I was attending this class. Okay, this guy, see, we were able to create a frame like this, and I'm attending these classes to learn mobile designing. And if I turn on my video and if I select this frame, that frame is loading, and I can see how my web app is looking on my mobile itself. So that much powerful the tool is. So instead of writing code, creating app and testing it in mobile, and finally, if you don't like it, go back to, so see, the customer is not going to, if you want to, get the agreement from customer that how do you want your design, you cannot afford to create two three designs and give him the designs and let him choose, right? Why do you want to invest, why do you want to create two three different designs and ask the client to choose? Why cannot we give a simple mock-up like this? Okay, mock-up like this. If he doesn't like this button, we will remove this button, or we can change this color of this button. Simply, it is this simple here. But what if it is in code? It is not that simple, right? It's not that simple. So you design your exact site in Figma. This is where the world is evolving a lot. So the current software industry, what they are doing is they design their apps in Figma. Okay, if I wanted to give you a recent project that I'm working on, a demo on a recent project that I'm working on, many more super construct. Yeah, this is my friend's app. So what they simply do is they create the entire site here and show the preview to the customer like this. Okay, they prototype this. This is a prototyping tool. So it's rendering. It's a huge website. It's rendering. So this is a font set. They said that I'm going to use the font sizes like this. So in HTML, whenever I'm using some font, I'll use these fonts only. And this is how the buttons is going to look. So the buttons are already designed here and taken agreements. Now my elements have, created. Can you see? Whatever the elements that I have here, that I need in the websites, elements have been created. And how do the cards should look? And finally, the navigation, how do the navigation look and everything. So this is how it is. So they design everything for the website and finally take that, approval. And then you could see a successful input will look like this, an error will be like this, an information will be like this, a warning will be like this. So they create every style guide, entire style guide on this platform, and finally create layouts. So desktop layout, small desktop layout, mobile grid. So this is the actual app, guys. First, they designed controls. This is not to scare you, but to give you a taste how the world working. So this is the home page. This is how the home pages should look. The second page. And this is done. You can select a flow and start the presentation. So, or you can go like this, demo it like this. This is the registration page. This is how it's going to look. This is the verification page, login, and then forget password. And you enter the OTP, you reset the password, you agree the terms and condition. Every step is designed. This way, there is no scope for errors. So client will say, what is this? What action can be based on multi-select? So he will ask question. I can enter some value. Maybe this makes the customer selection easy. I put a comment here and I move on. So you are not designing. It is very quick and easy to design your website in this tool and get an agreement. And finally, you start developing it. See, primary color, you use primary color. This is the style. Okay. What is the icon you used? What is the color you used? You get the styling of that particular input. Copy this. So you simply copying these things as CSS from this guy and using in the HTML and CSS and start developing the project. So it sounds simple, but not that simple. Hope you have an understanding now. Why do we use Figma? Got it? Now we know why we use Figma or not.
Yeah, I got it.
So it's a design.
Yeah, we got it.
Good, nice. So you have chat open. You can just send a message if you can't really. So keep this open and just keep on acknowledging, guys. So it will not be so monotonous. Okay. So how do I design in Figma? Okay. Whenever you open a new file, you will see a blank world. This is kind of a world. You can fit the entire world, hundreds of acres of design in this black ash color portion, guys. Hundreds of acres. I'm not joking. It's a large canvas. It's kind of a wall. It's like a wall. And if you wanted to design something on your wall, you have to create a canvas, right? First, you have to create a canvas. That is a frame. So as soon as you selected this frame, if you could see here, you are having lot of presets. So I haven't done anything. Don't touch anything. Just to select this frame. Okay, frame. Just say frame. And you will see what is that you're trying to create. Our goal is to create a desktop website. So I'm trying to create a desktop. So the usual desktop, optimal desktop size is this 1440 by 1024. If you select this, you will get a canvas here. Okay. It's a canvas size. It's the canvas is created for you. What is the size it is? It is 1440 by 1024 is the size. Now you design your entire page in this guy. So you simply put, so now when I created, this is not, so let me remove this additional, let me remove this, my God, delete it. Yeah. When I designed some box, it is not really inside. So you should drop this inside like this. So if you drop this inside, it is not going beyond. See, if it is outside of that frame, it is visible all over. See, if you drop this inside the frame, it will stick to that frame. The design will stick to that frame. Now you adjust this and go like this, and you change your header color. So you pick a header color. Okay. So if my brand is kind of says that this is the blue of my header and I want header to have. So Skibble, let's go to Skibble. Let's design the Skibble site. View page source. Where is my logo, man? Here is my logo. Can I do that? Really? I don't know. Desktop. Let me save this logo and come here. File, place image, desktop, logo. I can place the image here. No, I don't want to place that image. I just wanted to import that image. Yeah, it is on the desktop. Yeah, now I just drag and drop. I imported it. This is not really my color. Okay, and this is how Skibble. Fine, it is in the middle. I just make sure that it is in the middle. Fine. Now I want some buttons. So if you don't know, there is a community, plugins, browse plugin community, and you can go select the explore. Let's say navigation, search for navigation. So why I am trying, so if you see, you get this many different types of navigation files, so many people created. So I really like this guy. Okay, or I might like something else. So I'm just trying to get an inspiration. So I'm just trying to like something that fits my need. Okay, I don't want to start it from, I don't want to start it from scratch. So I think this is looking good. Okay, this is looking good. Now you can hit, you can zoom it a bit and see if the navigation is fine. So this navigation design is looking good. So I will duplicate this. And then I get to see that Figma file. See, it's that simple. Now I can copy everything, come to this file and paste it here and remove this Figma. So I kind of, I'm laughing for myself because we used to struggle a lot, we used to struggle a lot to find these kind of elements in our days. Like whenever I was working, I was kind of having a very hard time to find such elements. But now it is kind of become very funny. Like, okay, now I fit it here, Control C, and I go inside and paste it here, and I remove this guy. I just scale it. So come here and say scale. And you always, so select the frame, always have this layout grid ready, so that this will help you 8px, set it to 8 pixels. So first thing, you select this frame, you will see layout grid and click a plus here. If you click a plus here, you will get 8 pixels. You will get a 10px grid, but you need to get 8px. Why do I need 8px? So you can see, so each box is 8px of width. So I will match this here. So it's kind of going there. So how many boxes of width this is guy taking? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think now I need to also have this image to have that same space. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you don't have to think a lot. See, if this is kind of one box on the bottom and two boxes on the top. So I just wanted to distribute that change. You don't need to know everything visually. You can simply look at these boxes. One box below and one box above, and it's touching the second box. Now this is exactly in middle. Okay, if you don't want to see this, design, if you don't want to see this design, this grid, you can hit Shift G. Now I just want some shadow below. So you can say, come here in the effects section. If you, as soon as you select this layer, this group, okay, you will see effects tab. If you click the effect, and you will see drop shadow effect being added. There are many more effects that you could see, but that drop shadow or layer blur or background, you can have many effects, but this is one effect that I really like. So 20px, y2 x0. You guys following me guys? Now
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I got this navigation bar. Now if I wanted to create an HTML, I look at this guy, I go to inspect. See, this is the box shadow, the shadow. If I want shadow, I'll copy this and create. Let me give you a demo. How do I create that? So in here, header, let's say this is the header. In the header section, height, I'll copy, because width, I just want, I just want the width to take as much as available. So I don't want to give the width. This is not a position absolute. Top is already left, left is already left. So this is a background color, that is a box shadow. So I copy these two styles and paste it here. And now I review my design. What happened? Where this guy went? Crazy buddy. Okay. So why this is actually not fitting there? Because this guy, the paragraph guy, has a lot of margin. So I'll reset that in the SCSS. Margin. Okay. The body is also having a lot of padding. So if I remove these guys, see, I've got the exact style here. Now I can place the image here. I can simply put, put an image. So I can, you design it here, you can show it to your customer. You simply change the positions there. So if you come to this class, you can see what is the background, what is this. This is another. So it's exactly, you will get some HTML being extracted from here. But if you go to the community, you can say content, you can search for content. If you next you want to build a landing page for this, so go here, and you always want plugin, go here, explore landing. I search a landing, I'll look at different landing pages that I like. So I might like this guy. I go and look at it. This button is awesome, looking awesome. The image, this is an image, this is a text, this is a button. I kind of like. Go ahead, copy it, bring it to your website. So I'm not saying that you are not capable enough for drawing. I'm saying that it is available. So if you really wish to draw, put a text here like this. I'm going to Skibble website. Sorry. Okay. Foundation course. Paste it here. Text. Text foundation course. The joy of creating. Now I have my elements. So if I have the presets ready with me, I can say I can select the presets here. So typography presets are available. Like in the previous example, I was showing heading 1, heading 2, heading 3. If I have already ready those symbols, kept those symbols ready, I can use those symbols and simply create. So I can increase the font size just like that. And I can just reduce it like this. Design, come here. Always use 333, never use 100% black. Foundation course, join the full stack course, move it here. Just a second. Bring your image to here. I don't know if I can bring this image. Is it loaded? No.
No.
Okay. Now I download it onto the my web. Now reduce the size, or I can reduce this size and I can reduce this size. And I have my image cannot be smaller than this. So this is I'm actually creating very basically, because there are lots of tools, lots of cares you need to take, like you need to have a grid. So if I put a grid here, if you're ending out of four boxes, you should never go beyond 4 boxes. So like this. And on top you have to, if it is stopping at 3rd box, go on and create start after 5 boxes. The same with this guy, group them and select these 2 elements, this element and this element. I have grouped these 3 texts. So you could see, select these 3 elements like this. Okay, foundation with this one and this one, and select, say right click on it, and you can add it to a group. Okay, group the selection. Now it's this group is created. Inside this group, these 3 texts are there. So create this, select this group and select this banner, and you can center them here. If you click this button, it will align, automatically align to the center. So if you think this, yeah, this is now aligned with this logo. If you could see, the line appears saying that if you're trying to move, the line appears and says it is aligned with the Skibble. And this time, if you're moving it here, it will say, where is the alignment? Yes, it is exactly cutting at the shape. Shift G. I can on and on change my design. Finally, if I'm satisfied, I can give this demo to my client, and my client is okay. Then I start developing this website. So it is easy to create a design in Figma than creating a HTML, creating in HTML, and present it to the client. If client likes it, and then start converting this Figma into a design. So that's so I just wanted to simply give an introduction to the tool. Okay, I've given a detailed video. So I will keep on giving some more training videos on this Figma every week. So learn those techniques and tips around Figma and create awesome websites in Figma. Okay, so I don't want to occupy some more time, because we're already way over the schedule, 45 minutes. Let's call it a day, guys, unless if you have anything for me.